Although the years following the war were not easy for South Carolinians, the new Americans continued to build their community. The children of the immigrants were marrying and having children of their own. Captain Michael and Martha Watson's son Elijah was born even before the fighting began. Jacob Wanamaker III, born during the war and son of Anne Rumpf and Jacob II, helped to build a foundation for the community when he became a reverend near the end of the 1700s. Christian and Abnett also helped build the community by signing a petition of German Protestants for forming the Calvinist Church of St. John on the Four Holes. Many of these first-generation Americans were acquiring land both by purchase and as gifts from the new government in appreciation for their brave service in the nation's fight for freedom. Christian and Abnett survived the war and lived to the ripe old age of 80. He and his wife Peggy Herger had a son named Jacob in 1787. In 1810, Jacob and Abnett married Elizabeth Golson, the daughter of John Golson, who chased Bloody Bill Cunningham through the woods.
When Elijah Watson, the son of Michael and Martha, was about 20 years old, he met a young girl who was about 13 in Georgia, and it sounded like they eloped. It said that he kidnapped her, but I like to think maybe he rescued her and brought her on horseback back to Ridge Spring, and they married. Her name was Chloe Ann Wimberly, and she had a relative who was a general in the Revolutionary War and apparently was from a prominent family.
In 1812, Elijah Watson and Chloe Ann had a son named Elijah Jr., who was their seventh of 11 children. Later in Chloe's life, in Columbia, South Carolina, she was thrown from her carriage when the horses pulling it ran out of control. That accident left her crippled for the remaining 40 years of her life. Melchior Hallman, the son of Conrad, who had the trading post on the Cherokee Trail, also married, and with his second wife, Mary Keat, had a son named Adam Hallman. Adam was born just 2 years before his father Melchior passed away. Adam was raised by his first cousin, who needed help running his farm, and who promised to see to it that Adam be educated and well taken care of. When he was 25 years old, Adam Hallman married Anna Leah Wanamaker. 10 years later, in 1840, he built a house, which is still in the family today. There they raised their 13 children. Anna Leah was the granddaughter of Lieutenant Jacob Wanamaker II, who fought in the Revolutionary War, and Anne Rumpf, the daughter of Captain Jacob Rumpf, who led many of the patriots of the area in battle. Adam Hallman and Anna Leah's 11th child was Margaret Ann Hallman. It was on Adam Hallman's land that the Shady Grove Methodist Church was built. This church has been a centerpiece of the community and still has an active congregation today. Stephen Moss, Jr. married Anne Irwin and had a son named James Irwin Moss. Anne Irwin's family line has been traced back to England, to one of the signers of the Magna Carta in 1215. She is descended from English royalty and may also be related to one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. At least one of her family members arrived in Virginia as early as 1648. Stephen and Anne settled in Norway, South Carolina, where they built a house and raised their 7 children. Jacob and Abnett and his wife Elizabeth Golson had 13 children. Their fourth, Sarah Elizabeth, would grow up to marry Jacob Culler. Sarah Elizabeth would eventually run her husband's large plantation after his death and raise his young children through the sufferings of the Civil War and the difficult Reconstruction period that followed. In 1805, when Jacob Culler was 25 years old, he built a house about 8 miles northwest of Orangeburg. It still stands today.
And for 175 years, nothing but Culler descendants lived in that house. And then it was finally sold. And we're hoping to get it back someday.
It is said that the live oak trees surrounding the house were grown from acorns that Jacob Culler brought in his pocket from Charleston.
The ancestral home of the Culler family stands in a grove of huge live oak trees on a gentle slope. Ancient sentinels they are, for they have sheltered this old home from the storms and gales since the early years of the 19th century. From the porch can be seen broad fields of cotton lying white in the autumn sunshine, bordered on the east by the gums and maples of Limestone Creek, standing out in crimson, gold, and yellow against the sky from the touch of the first frost. Hugh Clayton Color.
The community was also growing with the addition of more immigrants.